Big thanks to EA and Respawn for inviting me to check out Apex Legends Season 24 a little bit early. Hey everyone, I was fortunate enough to have early access to Apex Legends Season 24 Takeover, which contains definitively the largest meta shift Apex has ever seen when it does come to weaponry. We have exciting new assault class changes, new ways to play with new modes and game systems, and lots of other changes that do pertain to the game as a whole. It's also the 6th anniversary of the game's release. We will get to all those weapon and legend changes, but let's kick things off with the new systems that are changing Apex to its core and affecting all players, and this is the brand new weapon system called Arsenals. This is kind of what they sound like. They are small stations or arsenals that do spawn around every POI on all the maps. Each arsenal has a specific ammo or gun type, so it's all light guns, all heavy guns, all energy guns, and so on, and this will let players choose what weapon and ammo types players want to run if they do decide to land at that specific POI with that arsenal. Arsenals are visible from the dropship and when you are approaching the POI from the ground, and while you can pick up ammo and base guns here, if you are running low on ammo or if you want to swap, you can also upgrade your specific weapon at the arsenal to get attachments or an optic. Note that you can only upgrade light ammo guns at light ammo arsenals and so on. You'll also notice that in-world name locations do appear as you are in the dropship. This is also going to show the rarity of that POI's loot from blue, purple, or gold for the hot zone. This will also again show which arsenals are at which POI via the ammo color icons that are on the name. Beyond just a nice quality of life update, having the names on the POIs is nice to help pick and coordinate a drop now. You don't have to open the map quite as frequently, and mostly this is going to be greatly helpful for newer or less experienced players that aren't quite as familiar with the map. Overall, it's a great new feature to have in the game. And the reasoning to have arsenals in the game now is they do want players to have more choices in their loadouts. If you want to just get a heavy ammo gun, you know you want to get that flatline or the hemlock, you can just land at a heavy ammo arsenal and you will be good to go if it is uncontested. They want players to use the guns that they want to use, and they want to empower you to make quick decisions such as when you are dropping, and if you are running out of ammo, you can also go to these arsenals to get ammo, so you can kind of dictate your gameplay around those arsenals as well. Beyond arsenals, we do have some shield changes to the game. There are no longer red shields in the game. Purple is the cap now, so a straight 200. Gray, blue, and purple helmets have been removed from the game as well, so headshot damage is linear now and it does not scale. This also provides consistency in the damage that you are going to do, so you will know how much damage you deal at all times. The gold and red helmet are still in the game, but they are not going to reduce your headshot damage that you take. Gold helmet will now give you double small heals, much like support class legends used to, and the gold helmet will instantly give you 100 total shields. And note that this shield upgrade is not going to instantly give you all your legend upgrades. You still have to level your character through the match, and if you remove the helmet, you're gonna lose that 100 total armor. As for the new red helmet, this will give you a total of 125 shields, much like the old red armor, but you will not get the double small heal effect, and the red helmet only comes from care packages and other rare spots where you would get something like a care package weapon. This is kind of a big deal, and we will get to this when we talk about the weapons later on. As for some other small changes, shield cells and syringes stack up to 6 now, which I think is nice, and this is how it was when the game first came out if you are unaware. And the speed at which you are crawling when you are knocked has been increased. It's kind of jarring and weird at first, but I think it's a good change. It's going to help you get away if you do get knocked, and it will just improve your survivability a little bit. We are going to get to legend and weapon adjustments, as there are a ton of changes to the sandbox, as basically every weapon has been buffed. But much like Season 23 of Apex Legends, we do need to talk about the elephant in the room again, and it is the lack of new content once again. So yes, there's no new legend, no new weapon, no new map, and no map changes. Respawn actually explicitly addressed the lack of new legends and weapons, and the reason was that new content like legends don't have the same impact on the game as a larger change, such as like the Evo system changing or us getting legend upgrades. And I do absolutely agree on this. I want these changes in the game, but why can't we have new legends and these changes? I'm pretty much over the lack of new things come to Apex at this point, and I've made this very clear in all my recent videos, so I'm not going to go any farther on that. I am happy they are focusing on the game and how they can refresh the overall experience and impact as many people as possible. On a sidebar though, Respawn has to be working on a new game or some sort of big update for Apex, right? They literally have hundreds of employees, and there has been little to no new content over the past 6 to 9 months. So what are all those artists and engineers working on? I think it's probably a new game, but I will digress from there. So let's talk about the biggest legend changes of the season. Much like I predicted earlier in the week and before my early access, it is for the Assault class, and it is absolutely their time to shine. It starts with some new perks for the Assault Legends, as Respawn stated they want Apex's Assault Legends to be the premier fighting characters, much like how supports and controllers are now more so defined in their class of legends with their class buffs over the past couple seasons. They want Assault Legends to feel like they have the edge in the gunfight. The first new Assault class perk is Stowed Reload. This is going to auto reload any stowed weapon after 2 seconds. This is pretty substantial, as you will always be prepared for a fight, and you will be able to pretty much consistently swap back and forth between your guns and have little or no downtime at all. The second class perk is Combat Reserve. This gives every Assault Legend 2 bonus storage slots exclusively for grenades, in addition to having access to the Assault Bins and holding more ammo per stack. This will be pretty huge for fraggers, and especially Fuse, as he basically gets 4 grenades he can hold regardless of the bag size. The last and probably the most interesting new perk though is going to be Battle Surge. When an Assault Legend cracks enemy shields, they highlight the cracked target for the entire team for 4 seconds. They get faster reloads and they get a movement speed boost, and in a lot of ways this faster movement felt much like Bangalore's double time, but also with the added effect of the reload. But this is going to be a very strong way to finish off weak enemies. Basically, you crack them, you see exactly where they are, and you push them with that movement speed boost that you just got. It's going to be pretty stellar. I'm not too big on more wall hacks, but we have had a little wall hack break, so maybe it's okay for now. This buff actually pairs really nicely with Ashe, because Ashe sees some insane buffs, but the big one is her passive. She now has a dash ability. The dash is called Predator's Pursuit, which can be activated by hitting jump once you are in the air, basically performing an omnidirectional double jump. This is going to be incredibly strong to reposition in fights, either in close range combat or even get away. For the most part, and at least with my limited testing, the ability is mostly used for horizontal movement, so you're not going to be leaping vertically from rooftop to low ground and low ground to rooftop and so on. Either way though, I did get a really old school Titanfall feel when I used this ability, which was a really nice little nostalgia trip that I think you will enjoy. Beyond this new passive though, Ashe no longer has her passive of Deathbox pinging, but she still sees Deathboxes on the map to track where people are dying. Her tactical snare has a wider range, and the snare now catches enemies based on where they are, not the center of the snare, which I think is good. And lastly, her ultimate had a range buff, so it goes out 100 total meters in distance, which is substantial, and the targeting accuracy of the ultimate was also buffed, so it's a little bit snappier than it previously was, and you'll be able to control this much better than you could in the past. As for my impressions on Ashe, it honestly seems amazing. The playmaking with her dash is next level. I cannot wait to get more time on it. She's going to be absolutely top tier. I cannot wait to see what comes out of her. The second big character to get some buffs this season is unsurprisingly Ballistic, as he's been a little bit lower and a little quiet since his release. Ballistic now gets 2 tactical charges by default, and his upgrades can let him get 2 more, so 4 total tactical charges. His ultimate gets a little speed boost from its previous state, and the big one, his sling can now hold care package weapons, and if you are out of ammo with that CP gun, you get unlimited ammo during the ultimate. This means there's no real reason to not put that Kraber in the sling and use it all game long. After these Assault class changes though, there were no specific changes mentioned in the preview event that I attended, but I did get some digging in the firing range, and the support legends no longer have faster movement while you are healing, and they do lose the ability to get double shield cells and syringes. This is a pretty big change, but I think support legends as a whole are still going to be really good, so I would not sleep on them. Alright, it's time to discuss the biggest weapon meta buff and changes we have ever had in Apex, but do me a favor, hit the like button and let me know what you think of the Assault class changes in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts, and if you ever need someone to play with, you can hop in my community Discord. We got lots of people in there that are looking to play Apex with others as well, because playing with randoms kind of blows. So straight up, Respawn is buffing every single weapon in the game. I'm not kidding here. And the majority of the weapons also had a damage buff, let alone the other changes that they are getting. I was not given specific patch notes on this, but I did use every weapon in the firing range, so I will show them on screen as I talk about this. Basically, Respawn stated that the benchmark damage has been relatively the same over the years, and it was time to make weapons feel really lethal again. I would, however, argue that the weapons have slowly decayed in time to kill over the years to compensate for players getting better and better. But regardless, all weapons are buffed, and it's designed to keep players in the driver's seat. Beyond the changes you are seeing on screen, the biggest changes that I noticed are the snipers, marksman, and shotgun weapons. Shotguns no longer have headshot damage multipliers, so they are doing flat damage no matter what, which is a nerf to them, but I think it is a fair one. Secondly, snipers and marksman weapons feel really good, like Season 2 Apex Legends OG players out there will know. Since both purple armor or 200 armor for the majority of players is the cap, and there are no helmets now, the base damage you can do with poking weapons is extremely lethal. Also, Also, and unless you have that new red or mythic helmet that will provide armor upgrade to a 225 total health, the Kraber is a one-hit headshot kill again, which is going to be good for a lot of players, and I think it brings some excitement back to the game. The weapon changes as a whole for me are the biggest change this season, as it will affect every engagement that you do go in. I'm excited to see Apex turn more into an FPS or weaponry skill game rather than just an ability spam game like it kind of has been for a little while. Beyond these main changes we have spoken about, there are a handful of other changes that are on the way. Matchmaking. For one, Respawn stated that matchmaking is a big priority this year. They want more player-facing changes to happen, meaning changes that you're actually going to see and notice. The first is transparency. Now see skill dispersion at the start of pub matches, similar to the ranked breakdown that came out last season. Beyond this, they want to make matchmaking more fair. We've heard this a ton in the past, but they will continually be tuning their matchmaking. Either way though, speaking of new modes and LTMs, a handful of new and returning LTMs are going to be coming this season. For starters, we have a new one called Pubs R301. Rampart has hijacked the care packages that come in and replace the weapons that are normally in there with a new weapon variant inspired by herself, and this is 3 mythic R301 variants inside of each Rampart care package that does come down. There's the Vermilion, which adds more crit damage and will actually spawn a thermite on a knocked enemy. There's the Hornet, which gives faster movement and reload, and your ultimate will come back on a knock. And lastly, there's the Limelight, which will regenerate shields and health of everyone in radius when you are damaging enemies. These were all pretty cool to use, and to be honest, they were pretty fun. I think this way of modifying pubs is much better than Rift relics from last season, where seemingly you had to use that Rift weapon or you were going to be massively outclassed. Other tease modes include some mode with a second chance mechanic, an OG loot pool takeover, and finally, 3 Strikes is coming back with a twist. I just don't know what the twist is. Moving to ranked Apex, there is a whole new system to access ranked, which is called Road to Rank. This is basically going to introduce a little bit more of a barrier to help prevent cheaters from getting into ranked games. No longer do you just need to get level 20, and with the removal of the requirement to get your account to level 20, you will now have to complete a set of challenges to get ranked access. This is going to help create a common starting point before players jump into ranked, basically meaning you got to get a skill check and know the ropes of the game before you are just a detriment to your team. Otherwise, there was no real rank changes that were announced this season, and this challenge system is only going to affect you if you are under level 20, which is probably little to basically no one who is watching this video. Respawn didn't explicitly say what the map rotation is, but I did play on Olympus, Broken Moon, and Kings Canyon in my play session, so I am kind of thinking that this will be the map rotation. As for a few other changes, the UI in the menus had some level of overhaul, as all the menus in the game had a nice little polish. Now you can even see a little bit more information in the post-game lobby without actually exiting your match. The end of match summary now has progression information, tasks, challenges, and other things that you can view from inside the game, so you don't have to go back to the lobby. In the actual menu though, you can now see your account progression, so you know how close you are to getting an Apex pack, or if you are trying to unlock legends, you can see how close you are to getting some legend tokens. This is a nice little quality of life buff that should help newer players who are trying to unlock legends by giving them a little bit more clarity. The weapon mastery system saw some nice little changes where you are no longer going to have to do radical changes, and the system has been simplified. Challenges are mostly just damage and eliminations now to unlock the mastery. You no longer have to do a 360 no scope while flying through the air and hoping that the enemy is also jumping. So no worries about that as well. As with every season, there are more ways for us to spend our money, and as if there wasn't enough ways already, Respawn has introduced mythic weapons, and the first is the R301, which is also why we have R301 Legends. This can be unlocked by opening packs, and it also comes in quotes for free with another new type of skin, a grenade skin, or a mythic grenade skin. The grenade skins I think are kind of cool, but it's just another monetization item. Again, it's a free game, take it or leave it. I don't care at this point. I think mythic weapon skins are also now diminishing what was previously the pinnacle of skins, the battle pass skins, so I think that's a little unfortunate. But the battle pass skins for the split one are the Alternator, Bangalore, Conduit, and Newcastle. Be sure to drop a comment or leave an emoji if you are still here. I have a ton of exciting news to share over the next couple weeks, so slam that like button and subscribe for more, and as always, happy gaming legends.